Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Creative Minds. Joining me here today is Anthony. Anthony, I came across your story, learned briefly about it, but I want you to kind of tell us more about you, who you are, what you do, why real estate, why move to Dubai. Like, just give us an idea of like yourself.
Just 50 questions all the same time. First of all, thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's such a
Of course,
pleasure to be with you.
of course.
Let's break it down. Who
Yeah.
you are, what do you do, when did you come to Dubai? It takes 6, 7 hours to give you all of the story. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to summarize it and make it as much as interesting as possible.
Mm.
I came to Dubai in 2014. The purpose of my visit here, it was just to see some family and spend 4 or 5 days in Dubai. It was not move to Dubai.
Interesting.
When I came to Dubai, I still remember it. It's next month. It's gonna be like 8 years.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So I came on the 23rd of October 2014, landed Thursday 11 p.m. By 12 p.m., I was already reaching Sheikh Zayed Road. And once I reached Sheikh Zayed and I saw those buildings, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. I just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. You know, when you skip a beat,
Mm.
usually when you see like, I don't know, like you see a person, and I felt even stronger feeling than that. I'm
Oof.
like,
Yeah.
wow, that's so beautiful. And just it took me another 24 hours. I was fully in love with the city. So I decided to stay in Dubai, even though I was coming for 5, 6 days.
Yeah.
That's it. So even my bag was like a carry-on for 5 days. I didn't
Yeah.
have like proper packing. And then having a conversation with my uncle, he was like, you know what, you're really good at sales, and the
Yeah.
city is really on fire when it comes to real estate. You should
Mm.
apply. And I'm like, yeah, why not? I didn't take it seriously. And
Mm.
I started sending application. Next day, I start getting phone calls, people inviting me to do interviews and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Went interviewed a lot. All of the companies were extremely fancy, like they were scary fancy,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel right. I always felt like this is not the place where I want to be. Then I started Googling myself who are the top 10 companies in Dubai, and I stumbled on number six, which was Provident Real Estate.
Yeah.
I've been there from day one until date. I'm still in the same company.
Okay.
So yeah, so anyway, I kind of like reached out to them. We did the interview and started all of that journey from there.
You're before that in Lebanon?
Yeah.
Lebanon, then moved to Dubai, and then started in.
No, just before that. So I was in Lebanon. I lived in a bit in the States. Then I came, saw the family in Lebanon. I came to Dubai to visit my uncle, and then I'm
Okay.
like, I'm staying here. I
Okay.
didn't have much money on me. I had maybe like $1,200, which I
Mm.
spent in 3, 4 days. Dubai is super
Yes.
expensive. I wasn't expecting that at
Yeah.
all. So yeah, it went really hard for me.
Mm.
Like because end of the day, I just know my uncle and his
Mm.
wife in
Yeah.
Dubai. And even my uncle, I haven't seen him for 15 years. So I came to see him and see his kids.
Yeah.
So everything was so weird, having the life I had before where I was living in my comfort zone. I had my mom to take care of most of
Mm.
my daily stuff. You know what I mean? I was making a very good living. I had access to fancy cars, living a very good life. And
Mm.
then suddenly feeling here at 30 years old,
Mm.
feeling like I'm fully naked. I
Mm.
don't have connects. I don't have money. I am in a literally extremely stranger place to be living at.
Mm.
And usually it takes you 6 months to understand how Dubai is Dubai,
Yeah.
and then you can go up with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, for me first it was terrible. It was so tough. Every day I was doubting if I'm gonna make it or not. In
Mm.
real estate, there's no salaries.
Yeah.
Well, like what I had, it was already gone. And then in the second months where I really didn't know what I was doing, I was left with no money, like zero. So being me, I don't like asking people to borrow me money.
Mm.
Even if I'm starving, I will never tell someone give me
Mm.
food, being the stubborn person I am. So what I have done, I own what I had under my name. I still remember it very clearly. It was an iPhone 5C. It was the
Yeah.
plastic one. It was the first model.
Yeah.
So I went and I sold it, and I sold it for $100, which is like 350 dirhams.
Mm.
There was a 50 dirhams. I paid it somewhere. I was left with 300 dirhams. So
Mm.
for the audience that they don't know what that means, it's an $80. So I divide this into 30 days, and I said, okay, Every
What?
day, my daily budget is 10 dirhams. So I can use the metro with 5 dirhams and I can have one meal, which was the cheese sandwich in Almaya supermarket. I don't know if they're selling those or not, but it
Yeah.
was 5 dirhams, which is
What?
like a club sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lived off those, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing any closing, any sales, any rental, nothing. Every day it was getting tougher because end of the day I have to walk almost, let's say, I don't know, 2 kilometers. That's if I'm using the metro. If I'm not using the metro, I have to walk 7 kilometers in the heat of Dubai, wearing a suit and carrying a laptop on the shoulder.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
and this is coming from a life where I had everything just in front of me. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
mm,
So
mm.
this transition as a human, I felt it was the transition between being a kid and transforming to a like an actual man,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So
Yeah.
yeah, on the 26th day, which I was left with 40 dirhams in my pocket, full of disappointment, full of every dark idea in the world,
Yeah.
I did my first rental with
Oh,
another company. Anyway, what I made from all of that deal, it was $500-600. But for
yeah.
me, that was like happy days.
Yeah. But
I
how,
can eat.
yeah, how did you kind of find a space to rent? Because I know rent is
No,
not
so
cheap.
for that sector, I was covered because I was living with my uncle. So he
Okay.
had
Okay.
an extra room so that I
Okay.
was using that extra room, or
Okay.
else it would have been an
Yeah.
impossible, impossible. I would
Yeah.
have slept in the metro or somewhere. I don't know.
Seriously? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like thinking about it, like even a studio here can cost like a lot,
Of
you
course,
know? It's like,
everything for it costs a fortune. Yeah.
yeah.
So when I had that break, as we say, I can
Yeah.
use a taxi. I don't have to be in a
Mm.
metro. I can eat something different than a
Yeah.
cheap. So yeah, I started picking up myself up, and
Mm,
then I'm like, you know what, like
mm.
you can be whoever you want.
Yeah.
But in that time, I was very limited when it came to dreaming or manifesting or at
Yeah.
least attracting what I want.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, and we were having this conversation 2 days ago with the guest on my podcast, that we as humans, because of our parents, it's not their fault, but because of the system, we are programmed to be like just a surviving species where we have a good job, we just marry someone. It doesn't have to be love. It can be whatever. Have this kid, and start this family and live like on the daily wages or whatever for the rest of our lives. And
100%.
if we are lucky enough, we can have 15 days
Mm,
vacation per
mm.
year where we can travel. We like our mind is not open that we can be whoever we want as long as we put in the work and do the
100%.
effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what took me through the years of evolving
Yeah.
mentally, physically, psychologically, getting myself into the knowledge that I got myself into, and to let me where I am today.
I noticed certain patterns in the sense that you get people are somehow there's sales involved, somehow there's real estate involved in the guests that you're
Yeah,
getting on the show. Is there a passion or that you grew from a younger age, or did it just fall into you when you moved to Dubai?
I've been a salesperson all of my life.
Mm,
Since I was a child, I knew how to send my
yeah.
parents, how to get me toys, how to
Yeah.
get me bicycles, how to get me the chocolate. I knew how
Yeah.
to play on emotions. Okay, I
Oof.
always did,
Okay.
always knew it,
Yeah.
always. So when I started university,
Mm,
I still remember it like yesterday. There was a window for someone to make a double major, and the second major was minor psychology.
mm.
Means you cannot practice it as a doctor. However, you will get all of the knowledge to understand the human behavior and the
Yeah.
human mind. I had it by born. Naturally, I can sit with any person and
Mm,
tell you there is something about this person. He does
mm,
this, he does that. So I had it naturally.
mm.
But when I got that second major in university and I got really to understand the human behavior and the emotion and the brain, the right brain and the left brain, for me, that was like the aha. Means any person who sits in front of me, I can sell him a product even if he has it or he doesn't want it, but I can still sell him because it's because the way I present it to him.
Mm. And how do
All
you
right.
present
So
that?
it's totally based on the person in front of me. So, but as if I want to give you as a general idea,
Mm,
so this product is coming to their life to enhance the quality of life.
mm,
whether they want to see it as an investment where it's a business, you don't have to run it, I'm running it for you, you're just making your yearly return, or it's the place where you really feel the warmth and that's your house,
mm.
and this is the place where it's your safe net
Yeah,
or safe zone.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's depending on that person.
Mm,
Anyway, I want to tell you something. I'm a man of principle. I always follow lots of principle, and one of my principles is that I don't sell anything that I don't buy myself.
mm, mm,
So I don't come in for a person, give him the story like this is will be the best investment and turns out to be a terrible one. No, I'm not into that.
mm,
I don't need to do that. I have a
mm,
huge network in Dubai. My
mm.
sales, thank God, has been off the roof,
Yeah.
breaking every record. So
Mm.
this is what I keep this like it's really important for me.
So can you explain a bit more about the journey of what it takes to be a real estate in Dubai? Do you need to have a degree? Do you need to have equivalent degree or something? How do you start?
It always keeps changing. So when
Mm,
I started, I
mm,
remember it clearly. We were not allowed to practice without having our RERA brokerage number.
mm,
Okay, so
mhm,
RERA is where we learn how the system. So it's like a 3 days course where you learn all of the rules, the regulation, how to implement everything in it, and then you go through a test. 2014, the passing grade was 70%.
mm,
So they will ask you 50 questions. Each question has 2 points. Then suddenly in 2015, I think they changed the law. It became 84, 86% the passing grade. So they made it
oof.
harder.
Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
lots of people were failing.
Mm,
And then they dropped it back somewhere around 19. But
mm,
during to COVID, they're not
mm,
doing this anymore.
mm, mm, mm,
So
mm,
now what they're doing, they were like, okay, if you register under a company, you will automatically get your brokerage. However, they made sure that the company is giving you some kind of training. They will not
mm.
just throw you out of the
Okay.
market. Okay,
Okay.
there is also lots of practices where people are practicing without having a license.
Mm,
It doesn't mean it's legal,
mhm,
but it happens. You know, you cannot control such a huge market like Dubai. You cannot
mm,
control it. So
mm,
some people practice it with or without a license. Regardless, for me, whether they have a license or not, it's
mm,
very important to follow like the kind of the code of ethics where you are a genuine human being and you are honest to these people and you're
mm.
not trying to bluff them or sell them something like
Yeah.
to put them in trouble. And if you are representing a buyer and a seller, make sure the two parties knows that you're representing the two. If a seller is telling you, for example, listen, I'm really in need of money. I want to sell my property for 2 million, but again, I will take an offer, let's say for 1.7 million.
Mm,
Don't go to the buyer, wink him, say, listen, let's give him
mm,
1.7 here. Like try to
mm,
be fair between the two parties when you're
mm,
representing. This is
mm.
way more important than any license. Because
Yeah.
if you have a license and you're a terrible agent, you're just like keep screwing yourself, the image of your company, and
Mm.
the image of the brokers in general.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh,
what skill sets would you say one should have to be good in sales or in real estate? Let's start with like real estate. Yeah.
Listen, okay, my style, I'm a very aggressive when it comes to this.
Mm,
Okay, I know people, they are as much successful as I am, and they are very quiet and calm. And
mm,
I know people that they like prospect in a different way. So I cannot tell you there is some kind of specific
mm,
characteristics for this person. All what I can tell you, first of all, to see it differently. People hate salespeople. Why? Because they're pushy, they're
mm.
annoying, and you know that once this sale happens, they will disappear. So you know there's
Yeah.
something behind it. My style, the way I do it is like I make friends with 95% of my clients. They become best friends. I travel to their countries. They travel to Dubai. We meet the family. We spend time together. So I give them the experience that you are with your friends going out cruising in Dubai and doing property shopping.
Okay.
And regardless if you buy or not, it's not going to make any difference in my
Mm,
life.
mm,
You know what I mean? But
mm,
still, I give them the experience that, and I tell them, I wouldn't buy this. Why? Because one, two, three, or definitely put your money here.
mm,
Why? So when I say something, it's always backed with proof and documents.
mm,
Like
mm,
if I'm insisting on you buying something on the beach, Even if you're not seeing the value yourself, I know what happened 3 years, 5 years,
Mm,
8 years back. When
mm,
people were buying on the beach, they made 300% of their
mm,
money.
mm, mm,
So
mm.
I know why I'm telling you buy here. It's not
Yeah.
like because I have some interest. I know it will explode here.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you. If you give them the proper experience, be honest, just say everything. You know what
Mm.
I mean? The more
Trust. Yeah.
honest you that yeah, you can gain the trust. And the way I do it is like I'm always the eyes and the ears of the international people.
Mm, mm,
So I
mm,
keep feeding them with the information, with the laws, with the visa laws, see what kind of issues they have,
mm,
and I solve this
mm,
problem.
mm,
Because I provide almost 8 services
mm,
related to real estate. I'm not just a broker who buys and sells. So
mm,
I have a lot
mm.
of other services I
Yeah.
provide.
So there's one thing that really grabbed my attention so much, and one thing in one of the episodes that you said, where you talked about um, how you constantly add value to the, let's say, a customer or whatever, whoever you're working with, you're always adding value. So it's like, okay, if you need help in the visa, how can I help you? It's like that extra bit that you give in is always something that I learned, I guess, earlier on. And I found you also talking about it. And I was like, interesting. Like it's all always about how you make people feel. And I guess that's where psychology that you learned came along
Yeah, exactly.
along the way.
We have Prime Stay, which is our holiday homes company.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I
Yeah,
came
we
across this.
we are the quickest and rising holiday homes company in
Mm,
Dubai. Luckily, we are classified as the third company in terms of growth and properties, and we have just been in the market now
mm.
for 4 years. Like
Yeah,
our
yeah.
competitors have been for like 10 and 12 years.
So
But
what makes,
next
yeah.
year, if we make another podcast, I'm gonna show you the trophy that we became the best company in Dubai for
Awesome.
sure.
and so what makes you different than any other existing company out there? So Airbnb started off early on in the process. I know you add more features and I think it's more tailored and more unique and more, I guess, on a higher end. What could you say is your added value that people would want to come to you and not go to the mainstream Airbnb?
To be very honest, I have all categories. So
Mm,
I do have the standard Airbnb.
mm,
Okay, I do have, let's say, the medium to high
mm,
luxury, and I have the luxury to the ultra luxury, which are penthouses, villas, mansion, what's on. Now, how I make it different is the way that I don't know. I want to say it without giving out our secrets, but I'm sure most of us they would. But the way we do it is like we always try to accommodate people and do a very competitive pricing
mm,
where the landlord is still making money and we are making money and we are making sure that our tenants are really happy with what they're
mm,
getting.
mm,
Also, on the second note, uh, it was a move that happened during COVID that really made us like people respected us, whether they are tenants or owners. Then when COVID hit and everything shut down, the airport, and there was no businesses, and 90% of the tenants they didn't have money to pay the rental,
mm,
and 60% of the owners they said we understand we can wait, but 40% say it's not my concern, I want my money today. Also, I have installments to pay. So
mm.
we stepped in as a company. We took responsibility of everything and we
Wow.
paid everything from our own pocket.
Mm.
So for our tenants, they were like, wow, Christmas came early. And
Yeah.
for the landlords, they were like, okay, these are guys that I can count on them
Mm,
because he knows that no matter what happened, even including force majeures, we have still
mm,
put their best interest on top of our
mm,
interest.
mm,
And this is what really brought us tons of people, referrals. And
mm,
yeah, I can say it's our transparency. It's like we give them access to everything. They will see the booking, the money, every bill by bill. So we have nothing to hide. We're so transparent. We're like
mm,
kind of a public company.
mm, mm,
Let's put
mm.
it this
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
this is why I think Prime has been having this massive success. On top of this, we have interior designing, furnishing. We have like commercial laundry. uh, means like we don't do suits, but we do the towels, the sheets, the linen, along with commercial housekeeping as well.
Mm, mm, mm.
And yeah, there's
Interesting.
still another company that
Yeah.
does like VAT filing, CFO services, due diligence, company formation. Basically, we do everything. Let's simplify
Yeah.
it this way.
Awesome. If you need anything about real estate or anything, just go to Anthony.
Just think, if you think about real estate, I'm your guy.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier on that there was this shift for you where you felt like a kid and then you kind of became more you transformed in a sense, and I feel that transformation was more in your mindset. So can you tell me a bit more about how that shift in mindset, and I mean what was the first thing that got you thinking of I need to change, I need to do something differently?
I didn't think about it. Life forced me to do it.
Mm,
It wasn't something optional. You know, it's
mm,
like when you live all of your life and you have all of the chores being done, it's like, okay, I don't know how to fold the shirt. I don't
mm.
know how to iron a shirt. I don't know how to do anything literally except frying some eggs, to be very honest. And suddenly you
Yeah.
have to do it all. And
Mm,
it's not optional. Like if you don't
mm,
do it, no one will do it for you. So you're gonna
mm,
keep wearing your
mm.
dirty clothes, you understand? So
Yeah.
I started learning and messing up a lot and going to YouTube,
Mm,
imagine seeing tutorials, how to do all of this stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, I had no choice. But during that, what was really interesting that every day I used to look at the sky, smile, and I'm like, moms are beasts. You know, moms are like so strong, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because once you see her doing it, you will not feel like it's an accomplishment. But after just doing my, imagine like we are a family, I have brothers, she takes care of everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can barely take care of myself, and she
Mm,
was doing all of this for all of these years. Like this is really impressive.
mm.
And then I called her, and you know when you say to someone thank you, and someone was like, "Why you even thanking me?" I was like, "Just don't worry about it. Just thank you." You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so so I gave her a thank you from the bottom of my heart. Then I got her worried because it was the first time I say thank you in such an emotional way.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, "Are you okay? Everything is fine." I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry, everything is fine." Even though
Yeah.
everything was far off from fine, it was terrible, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, bit by bit, from there it started getting better.
Mm,
Everything went better. So that transformation is like it was forced. So, for example, most of the people that I got to meet and they
mm,
became friends, everyone had a steady job where they had salaries, they had,
mm,
I don't know, commission, bonuses, credit cards. They were traveling all the time, seeing new countries. Like, I couldn't do it. I had the $3 budget, daily
mm,
budget. Like, if I wanted to travel, like maybe the most amusing part was reading a book,
mm,
and that started changing my
mm,
mind. I'm like, this is the best I can afford, an
mm,
existing book.
mm,
And then I found myself like getting really addicted to reading. And the more I read, the more I was dreaming. So, but I didn't know back then, like, this is how life works by
mm.
envisioning your future or start seeing it or feeling it. I was like, maybe this is, I'm on the verge of losing my mind. I'm getting crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't
Yeah.
know this stuff and no one
Yeah.
will teach you this stuff.
Mm,
That's in school. Most, like 90% of the people don't even
mm,
understand it. So yeah, I kept reading, and I started writing on a piece of paper, swear to God, by myself, like what I want to be or become by end of this year.
mm,
And I used to write this stuff like in the macro or micro way. And then I found myself after a week or two, oh, this happened. I'm like, what? And then end of the year, everything I have written on the paper was accomplished. I'm like,
mm.
wow, I'm getting really organized. See,
Yeah.
I'm starting to see I'm organized.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'm dreaming small. Maybe I should dream bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And I started writing down more bigger stuff until I stumbled. I really got into YouTube, learning tons of materials. I bought some courses for really like big gurus, and they were very helpful. And then I stumbled to this interview with Jim Carrey, and he was saying that before he had his breakout, um, he always dreamt of having $10 million. So he wrote a check from himself to himself, and he put $10 million, and he put that date. And just before a few months of reaching that date, he hit 12, 13 million.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is interesting. I'm
Yeah.
not the only crazy person in here. There's
Yeah.
other successful crazy people.
Yeah.
Let me try this out. So I took a check and I wrote 5 million dirhams to myself. And it was in 2016, and I dated it 25th of May 2020, and I put it on my closet. And
Mm.
this date marked my 35th.
Mm.
So I'm like, when I become like 35, I want to be having this amount. And I
Yeah.
kept seeing it every day, every day. And I used to live in a very tiny studio when I moved out,
Mm.
eventually. So whoever came to my house saw this check and they were like, they all made fun of me. Oh, you want to take it to the bank, cash it, be careful, the check
Mm.
doesn't bounce, and all of this shit. And in 2019, I've already had that amount. And I'm
Wow.
like, you know what? I'm dreaming very small. Why 5 million if I can make 50 million?
Yeah. And was that all in like real estate?
Yeah, all of my money was on real estate. I was doing little bit of side hustles. So I used
Huh.
to go to the visit, and I
Yeah.
always look at those paintings and give them very discounted price and buy all of these paintings. And how did I do that? I used to resell them on the visit.
Yes. Yeah.
like that's great. Yes, I
Yeah.
used to buy the items, whatever they were priced as. I always give 50% discount. Sometimes it works, sometimes I paid a bit more. But yeah, I used to buy the paintings
Interesting.
and resell it. Also, I used to buy lots of electronics also online and resell it to suppliers. Some of those were like operation of holiday homes. They used to
Oof.
buy,
Yeah.
yeah, like brand new stuff in a cheaper price. So I used to make money on the side, like
Nice.
these kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But my, let's say, 80 or 90%
Nice.
income, it was all from real estate.
Interesting. So did you have one book that kind of was the first book that opened your mind to viewing things differently?
Mm, yeah, all of them they did. But the one that really changed my life, like I knew I was spending money like nonsense, it was The Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Mm.
So this is where I really learned the difference between an asset and a liability,
Mm.
and how to invest the money in an asset and take that return. And even if you want to burn it in one day, it doesn't matter because it will always come back. But once you burn the actual asset, there is no money coming.
Mm.
So I was like, yeah, this is my mistake. I make $10,000, I spent $11,000.
Mm.
Now, no, make it differently. So save
Mm.
money, invest in a property, and once you get your income, use that income. It will
Mm.
always come back to you. So
Mm.
yeah, was the first like proper eye
Interesting.
opener.
Mm.
Then it was followed by
Yeah.
lots of
Yeah. Yeah.
business
Books.
books.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think or what do you believe is the thing? I mean, people call it manifestation, people call it God. Everyone has their own way of representing it. How what do you think is the thing that got you to manifest like this amount of income at that age, or when you ever set a goal, you achieve it? What do you think that is?
I really don't know. I
Mm.
don't have an answer because if I want to think about it too much,
Mm.
it kind of like it will messes up my brain. Like
Mm.
I don't want to say like, yeah, this is the universe. It's not God,
Mm.
but maybe the universe is what people call God.
God, exactly.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how the formula works because I don't know. It happened 2,000 years back, 10,000 years back, or a
Yeah.
million years. I have no idea. But all what I can tell you that if you genuinely
Mm.
say what you want,
Mm.
write it down,
Mm.
or whatever you want, and just see it every day and work like it's your last day on the planet to get
Mm.
this done,
Mm.
it will happen.
Mm.
And I've seen it in tons of industries. I've seen it everywhere. Even I've seen it in people where they had the case where they were classified as handicapped or something like that. And the willpower inside of them, they
Mm.
made them walk again. And I
Mm.
swear I've seen it in my eyes. It's not like a story someone
Mm.
told me. And most of the time when I'm watching this on TV, that Like you have these programs where it takes a beast to finish that track and stuff.
mm,
Always you will find two, three people will telling you like, yeah, we had cancer and we were about to die, and suddenly our life
mm,
changed, and now they are these atheists and stuff. So I do believe that as humans, we are extremely strong
mm,
mentally and physically
mm,
if we allow ourselves to use that capacity that we have.
mm, mm. I felt from
But to
what you
answer
said.
your
Yeah,
question, that
yeah,
if there's a God, you know, I cannot, no one can answer it.
yeah,
It's too tough to answer it.
yeah, yeah.
It's belief against science, against actual life.
Mm.
And when
Yeah.
you know the answer, you tell me. How about that?
I feel it's very unique for every person, and it's how they choose to see it themselves. And if that works for them,
Yeah,
then you can live with that. Just meeting a lot of people as well too. Each one has their own belief system, and they believe in it deeply that it actually works in that sense. And I think,
mm,
like you said, it's a combination of whether you call it God, universe. At the end, the core beliefs are all very similar. And so really what the naming is of not really of so much relevance, but the core of it I feel is very similar to, and every the way everyone talks about it, I guess,
like I
overall.
had to be very honest. Like if you met
Yeah.
me 8 years ago and you said after few years you're gonna have this much company, this much employees, this much businesses, this much properties, and
Mm,
anything that you wish for life, I'll burst laughing. I will
mm,
say you have mental issues. You're crazy.
mm.
There's something wrong with you. I
Yeah.
swear. Like
Yeah.
even back then, I didn't believe in myself.
Mm,
To be
mm,
very honest with you,
mm,
there was few people that believed in me, and even I was so doubting myself. I
mm,
started wondering, are they making fun of me or they are genuine in what they're
mm,
saying?
mm.
So see how much I didn't have zero self-confidence,
Yeah.
nothing, no purpose in life. Like I started like doubting my existence, like why
Mm,
I'm alive. You know what I mean? So when
yeah.
you reach that point, I think, yeah, we need to reach rock bottom, and this will be the full awakening. Now, is it a helping hand from God? He's putting his hand down, saying, my son, let me lift you up.
Mm,
Is it the universe? Is it all of it? I have no idea, but I think it all starts with us
mm,
as
mm,
humans, as
mm,
our decision, as what we want, as
mm,
where we want to reach. And now I have this repetitive question that most people still telling me, why do you still work? Why
mm,
do you still show up every day? Why you do that? You are a greedy person.
mm,
No,
mm. Oh, yeah.
it was never about money. It's called ambition.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
am my own nemesis. I am bettering myself to see where I can reach in
mm,
life.
mm,
From someone that was doubting his existence in life
mm.
to now seeing where I can reach in life,
Mm.
I cannot ask for anything else than that. And
Yeah.
for that, I'm extremely grateful to the universe and to God
Mm.
together.
Amazing. So, I noticed something that was very evident in what you mentioned earlier on too is focus. Like you, this is what you wanted. It was clear to you. You would see it every morning and there was focus. But what happens to someone who's not sure if this is the right path for them, if they're still doubting, but they have this belief that they're gonna do whatever they want to do, but they're kind of iffy. I think this lack of focus is the problem. What
Uh,
gave you this motivation to stay committed to this goal, to this is what I wanted to do and I'm going after it?
to be very honest,
Mm,
I was doing everything the opposite of how I was living all of my life.
mm,
So I have a very short temper
mm,
and very short patience as well. So usually I jump into something. After 2, 3 days, I say, you know what, screw it. I'll
mm,
jump something else. Then I go to something. So all of my life, I've been doing a bit of everything, but master of none.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
And then when I came here to Dubai and I said, listen, you messed up everything before, now you do it differently. Even from getting that RERA course, which is the real estate, I sat down in the first bench, just in front of the instructor. Usually in school, I always used to be in the
mm.
back row. And you know, who sits in the back row? They are usually bummers, you know, just want to make fun. They're not
Yeah.
even seeing the teacher. So I sit in the front row. Whenever I was going for a meeting, I always gave it 120%, even though back then I had nothing. no money, no even clothes. I couldn't afford a suit. I was going out meeting people in shirts and t-shirts and stuff like
Mm,
that. But I said, like, do it differently
mm,
because apparently whatever you have done in the past didn't work.
mm,
So let's try to be different. So when I started the business, I just was like, that's it. Now, we are always like influenced by our surrounding. So if I am sitting between 4 or 5 guys and they're doing bit better than me, that bit better, that one level better, once I reach it, I will relax. So
mm,
then I was like, you know what? I don't want to surround myself with people who talk about other people and who break up with who and she did this and he
yeah.
did that. I want to surround myself with people that have a vision, at
Mm,
least discuss like events,
mm,
ideas, stuff. And this is why I couldn't find it in my own entourage. So I found it online, mainly on
okay.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is why before I was, let's say, 18 hours active by watching videos, reading books, doing exercises, seeing how they are doing real estate in the States, in New York, in Miami, in Chicago. So I was always there taking notes, writing it, start walking differently, start
Mm,
acting differently. So I was like, in a way, kind of like having a fake self-confidence. I wasn't sad, but when you speak to me, you were like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. You know
mm,
what I mean? So I
mm,
kept like practicing until I met the actual rich people. And when I say rich, I'm not talking money-wise only, I'm saying mentally. Because
mm,
these guys really discussed events, ideas,
mm,
or always had a story about someone, but not in a form of gossip on this guy, he took this much money, he invested in this, he turned it
mm,
into that. So I was always inspired. And before all of that happened, in my mind, it was always like millionaires are gods.
mm,
Because this is how the system taught us. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm,
And then when I was sitting with them, I'm like, these are no gods. They are just same like me. All what they had on top of me is like 5 or 10 years experience in
mm,
proper business. So they
mm,
are same human. And
yeah.
this is where I started feeling, no, if they make it, I must make it better.
Mm.
And whoever I was looking to as gods after a few years, they looked so small.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started looking to billionaires and I
Yeah.
started surrounding myself with them.
Mm,
And even those guys, and I'm like, I always keep saying, they don't have anything on top of anyone except that they are focused. They
mm,
know what they want. They don't get distracted by noise or by little stuff.
mm,
And this is the main issue is happening in our society.
mm,
Now, any person that we see rising too quickly, everyone tries to put him or her down. However, if that person considers them as noise and he keeps super focused on his lane, eventually he will reach that lane. And everyone who's trying to put them down,
mm.
they will start uploading to them and giving them the
Yeah.
bow. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
just focus on your lane, pick one thing that you like and you love, put all of your passion into it, and you will make it.
Mm,
End of the day, why I got into real estate? Because real estate is the most paid industry in the world. I can even tell you the mafia doesn't make as much money as the real estate does. And
yeah.
we do it legally and we do it halal. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? This is where the
Yeah.
money is. So why not? Why not
Mm,
real estate?
mm.
Yeah.
So you last few questions, but one here is you said you're your own nemesis, so you're always trying to better yourself. So
Yeah.
what is the next goal that you have in mind? So someone looking at you as an outsider, like you mentioned early on, he's got it all, he's learned, he's in Dubai, he's doing real estate, he's doing really well. What's next for you? What do you want to do next?
I'm too scared even to tell you.
What? Yeah.
Like what I have in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, let me tell you something.
Mm,
Also, in the process and the way, when I
mm,
was doing all of this, I got popular in my city in Dubai. Like,
mm,
thank God, everyone knows me. But then I started getting that massive attraction over social media, and
mm,
people start texting me, "We like what you do. We want to do the same." And then COVID happened, and there was tons of people texting me they want to join real estate. 50% of them, they were people who got laid off from their job. It wasn't
Yeah.
a passion for them.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? I cannot answer everyone on the phone. It's
Mm,
madness. I get 150 texts a day. I'm like,
mm,
so then I decided to make my online academy where I teach stuff as like we call it as the practice or it's the street knowledge. You know what I
mm,
mean? Whatever I learned from practicing it on a daily
mm,
basis, I put it in a course
mm,
and I gave it to people and it started making huge impact.
mm,
And that was in 2020. Today I have over 300 enrollments and I have never even marketed. I've never done it for the business. I just
mm,
want to change people's lives.
mm.
And then I started finding this that there's a pleasure or it's like there's a pleasure about giving way more than getting. So
Yeah.
first you were just so focused you want to make that money, but after you make all of that money, they were like, okay, now what?
Mm,
Doesn't matter if you have a million, 10, 50 million, 100 million, it's the same amount. Okay, I have all of this money. What shall I do with it? Okay,
mm,
shopping, we did that.
yeah.
But then you will find that it's meaningless.
Mm,
But then when you give someone, and by saying giving, it doesn't mean I just go throw money on the street. No, giving someone by doing an impact in their life,
yeah.
it gives you such a satisfaction like no one can describe.
Yeah.
So I started doing a lot of those. Then I wrote a book. It's called Take Charge. It's been in the market for 1 year and 1 month. Has been doing massive success. Hit Amazon top seller in a matter of week, and the new release, and in the real estate category.
Mm, mm. It's amazing. I came across
Yeah,
all of them on your page. And I think one big thing too is that you make your page very easy. Like you can click on it and you can see the episodes, you can see what you offer, you can see who you are, your story, and
yeah,
it's just easy. I think everything that you're doing is just easy for people to see and consume,
yeah.
and I think that's like such a great added
Even
value.
even if you read the book, you feel like you're listening to a podcast. Like
Mm,
people told me, we can hear your voice when we
mm,
are reading it because I made the
yeah.
book as a podcast. Nothing fancy, nothing posh. Everyone can read it, even if English is not your second
Mm,
language, so
mm,
you can still understand
yeah.
it. So yeah, this is what I'm
Awesome,
doing.
awesome. So I have one final question. Um,
Sure.
and that is, what is your definition of success? What does it mean to you?
Each year each year it's different from the year before it. So
Mm,
when I made it success for me is like, yeah, I have money. I'm not worried about bills anymore and
mm,
all of this stuff. Then the year after it, I don't know why, but I just decided to make peace with everyone that we have this bad vibe,
mm,
whether he's a family or a friend or a colleague or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Just want to do peace with
mm,
everyone. And
mm,
so I can attract as much as positive energy
mm.
as possible. When I made peace, my definition to success is like my mind,
And
my clear
yeah.
conscience. Like even if I hurt someone, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I genuinely apologize to them
Mm,
without being forced to do it. I decided to do it. So the peace of mind was the success. Then the year after it, I found success is how I leave the impact I make on people and how I leave them feeling. For
mm,
example, sometimes I come to a supermarket, a pharmacy, or whatever, and I just genuinely give a nice comment to that salesperson, whether he's a he or a she. I just say, you know what, today you look glowing, that you must be in love, keep it up. Just to make them feel good. Even if I don't see that, even if I don't see them glowing, even I see them desperate, you know what I mean?
mm, mm,
I just say something because I just wanna like make that like okay, it doesn't cost me anything to make someone smile and make him happy. Just do
mm,
it. So I found like success is how I leave people around me. And then the year after it, I found out that all of this combined together is success. And no one can tell you what's the definition of success because each person see it as his own perspective
mm,
and you
mm,
cannot tell them no, it's not it. But I think it's a mix of everything. End of the day, if you are sleeping every night feeling that you have done your best and everything and you have a clear conscience and you're excited to wake up tomorrow because you have certain goal, whatever that is, I think this is
mm.
success.
You're so conscious. Like that's such a conscious answer, and it looks like you've been very observant of that over the years. Honestly, that's such a
Because
nice.
it's been happening
Yeah,
like a sequence, like a series, like
yeah,
one by one by one by one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you again, Anthony, so much, and for
Thank you,
everyone,
Aida, for having me.
of course, my pleasure. And for everyone listening, I hope you all have an amazing, awesome rest of your day.